as new for us as it is for you? And have you done this, or have you done this with other civilizations preparing for open contact?
Yes, we have done it with many civilizations. Now, of course, the details will be different depending upon how their society is structured, of course. But we have done this before many, many times. It is one of the techniques that we put forward to again gauge when individuals and societies are ready for open contact. The idea, again, is that it is now a set of very specific steps. Yes, following the formula is still critical, but the idea is that we're giving you specific actions, since we have said action is the language of physical reality. So the specific steps we are giving you are specific languages in your reality that really allow you, as you say, to walk your talk and get more specific frequencies by taking specific actions that are based on the idea of the formula.
You've mentioned ways of informing our governments about the fact that we, the people, are aware of ET intelligent life forms. Should we continue to do that? What would you like? Would you like to address methods on how we should proceed with it? Will it be part of your future steps and or instructions?
Coming up in step 3.
Oh, wow. This question is about homelessness. How can we better address homelessness on our current Earth? Having once experienced homelessness myself, I strive to assist those in need. Can you suggest innovative solutions for this issue? How has the Interstellar Alliance tackled homelessness on other planets? Can we adopt similar strategies as we transition to a newer, cleaner version of Earth?
It is very rare for us to encounter within the Interstellar Alliance the idea of homelessness in a negative context. It is something relatively unique on your planet in a negative way. So the idea begins with the psychology of individuals, how they feel about themselves, whether they feel worthy or not. It is a very deep and complex subject and must be pursued on the psychological levels as well as the physical levels of providing shelters for people who don't have any. Because some people on your planet are enveloped within a psychology that actually prevents them from having shelter. There have been experiments done on your planet where what you call homeless people have been given the abilities to have homes, the ability to have what they need, been given sums of money to see how they spend it and whether they will use it to take care of themselves. Many of them have simply squandered these resources and refused in any way, shape, or form to avail themselves of what they can to provide shelters for themselves, to take care of themselves when given these tools, because of the deeper psychology that they may attach to the idea of receiving assistance from people. Some individuals who are homeless simply refuse to believe that if they take the help of people, they won't be under their control. They won't be obligated to them, and it is more important to them to remain free of those obligations as they see it. It doesn't mean they actually would be obligated, but if their psychology makes them see the idea of receiving help as an obligation that limits their freedom, their sense of freedom, they may actually choose to remain homeless in spite of the fact that they could be helped by others. So you have to explore the deep psychology, and you have to allow people to find their own self-worth. Now, again, this is in the negative context we are speaking. There are people who simply do enjoy living in the outdoors without a standard or traditional sense of a home, who can provide for themselves very easily as if they are on a perpetual camping trip. So you have to again assess whether or not the person is actually choosing this for a variety of reasons that may actually be positive, or may have something to do with the life path they have chosen that can be beneficial for their soul's growth, or others around them for their growth, by interacting with a person who is free to engage with nature in a way that is non-traditional, outside and without a traditional shelter. So again, you have to assess what is going on, whether this is being created positively or negatively, whether it is part of their soul's path to learn something, how it affects them and how it affects others, but more deeply, the psychology of what they think of their own self-worth. And then where you can be of assistance where it's appropriate, you can, again, pool your resources or rearrange your resources to do build shelters for people, as many people do, to provide shelters for those that truly want it, truly are capable of taking care of it, truly honoring the help that they are receiving and improving their own self-esteem and self-worth by having a place that supports them. So there are many different avenues and many different directions you can take with regard to this particular situation. And I would suggest that you investigate them all, but be aware of the deep psychology behind what people are choosing to experience, consciously or subconsciously.
Thank you.
Yes.
Regarding the exercise of putting a picture of a gray in the window of your home, are any ETs practicing by putting a picture of a human in their window?
Some ETs are playing with that idea. It is not something that is as necessary for them as it is for you, because we can always observe you anyway. So, but some of them, especially some of the hybrid children, are sort of playing with that idea to get used to living among you.
It's fun to think about.
Yes.
This person says, I was wondering if your culture has any human subculture they favor, that they like the vibe or aesthetic in particular.
There are some cultures on your planet that have similar traits to some of the aspects of our civilization, and therefore we could say we can relate to it a little bit more easily. We are similar in vibration in certain limited ways and certain limited expressions, but we don't play favorites. So I won't answer it that way.
So you can't tell us just a few of some of the subcultures that you like?
Again, I'm not playing favorites. So the idea is, again, there are certain cultures on your planet that do have certain expressions that are similar, not identical, but similar to some of the traits of my civilization. For example, the idea of the philosophy of Zen or Tao may be very similar to some of the ways that we view reality and experience reality, similar to the idea of the formula. But again, we don't play favorites. I'm not going to say we like one more than another. That's not how we operate. But we recognize that there may be certain traits in certain cultures or certain belief systems within certain cultures that may have some similarity to what we are familiar with in our society. And that's as far as we will go.
Thank you. Are human beings the densest beings in the universe? Do you ever feel frustrated by our dumbness?
No, because again, we understand you are on a path to learn something. You are not the densest we have encountered. There are others that are as dense or denser. But the idea is, again, as we have said, you are strong souls, strong spirits to have chosen to be in a reality where you forget completely who you are, or as completely as possible to forget who you are. So the idea of the challenges that you have imposed upon yourself means that you are a strong master graduating class. And we certainly applaud your bravery and willingness and courage to experience these things for your own soul's growth, so that your growth can accelerate in ways that other civilizations may not be choosing.
What is something that most civilizations in the universe do not understand or comprehend about humans that seem very alien to them?
Well, one of the things I just mentioned, it is quite challenging for some civilizations, even members of my own society without training like a first contact specialist receives, to understand how it is possible for someone to forget as deeply as humans on Earth do who they really are, to forget their connection to spirit, their connection to source. It is almost unfathomable to many beings that such forgetting can occur. Actually forget who you are on a spiritual level. It is not something they have to deal with It is something they have heard about, but again, find it challenging to understand or comprehend how such a thing is possible. It's not their path to understand that. It's the path of a first contact specialist or a social engineer to understand that. And therefore, they don't worry about it. They just don't really understand how to comprehend it.
And is it our path to remember, to figure out,
Yes,
remember?
yes. That's how you grow.
And is it by doing the formula that we can remember?
That's certainly the strongest way. That's why we give it to you. It's the simplest way that you don't have to overcomplicate or overthink. And within the formula, of course, there are many opportunities to be attracted to do things in the way that are representative of your individual passions that are unique to you. So within the formula, there are many unique ways of experiencing it, but the formula still works for all.
Wonderful. I'm interested in understanding how your people feel and perceive the excitement of meeting us when open contact happens on Earth.
We are very excited about it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be engaging with you because, again, we only follow our passions. So the recognition of joining, as we have with many other civilizations, whether it be in a structured interstellar alliance or even a loose association or friendship, is expansive to us to allow us to experience different ways that different beings have of relating to the idea of existence. It expands our understanding. It expands our knowledge. It expands our experience. You have experiences we do not have, allowing us to experience some of those things, to understand how different beings can create challenges that allow them to discover things in a very different way than the way that we do or other civilizations do, is very exciting to discover because it adds to the overall uniqueness of all the different facets of all that is and allows us to understand more of all the ways that all that is has of experiencing itself, which expands our understanding of the infiniteness of all that is. This is very exciting to us.
Will music play a significant part in upcoming open contact? I heard about an event where ET ships respond to our music festival lights. Music is often a way that humans raise their vibrations. Is there any chance that we can witness a mass sighting with some of your representatives during a music festival? It would be great to see your lights in the sky joining the rhythm of our music.
Yes, this is quite possible and maybe very probable, not necessarily right away, but in the years to come.
Now, can you tell us a little bit more about the music festivals that you might like?
No,
Okay. What is your current ship height above Sedona?
approximately 1,500 miles.
Are you at Bell Rock?
Above Bell Rock, yes.
I've,
1,500 miles above Bell Rock.
I've recently seen ships near my house that I've previously not seen. These ships appear to be descending lower to the ground. Is there a reason for this? What is happening?
Again, as you all expand your consciousness, you also sharpen your senses to start peering into other dimensions. These things have been around you all the time. Like I say, there's a lot of traffic around your planet. But the idea is that they have usually been outside the vibrational frequency of your senses. But as you expand your consciousness, you can start to see things that you couldn't see before.
Which country is open contact most likely to occur first as you read the energies now?
Who says there will be a first country? Who says open contact won't happen simultaneously all around your planet? Why would there just be one country? That's not open contact.
Right. Can you tell us more about a unique civilization in our galaxy that we've never heard of before?
One moment. One moment. We are looking for what might be most relevant. We have not told you yet about a civilization within the Interstellar Alliance that travels. These beings are in constant motion. They are not bipedal, they are quadrupedal. 4 legs, as you would understand it. They are constantly moving. Very rarely do they rest. Very rarely do they stop. Their world is patterned in such a way as to allow them to travel long distances. They do this as a matter of gathering information. They do this as a matter of learning. They are constantly, almost constantly on the move, even moving while they rest. They have the same kind of capacity that your dolphins have to have half of their brain sleep while the other half remains awake so that they can constantly move, constantly learn. These beings have created a society that exists within nature in such a way that they have, shall we say, guided nature, trained nature to create certain structures that they use as shelters that they can pass through. But most of these shelters are very long and tunnel-like because they keep moving. And the shelters provide for them information, entertainments, stories, experiences as they move through these long natural tunnels, either in the earth or made of their version of trees or plants. The beings are ranging in size from about the size of what you would call an medium-sized dog to the size of a small horse and sizes in between. They do have a head. They do have 2 eyes. They have, similar to the idea, as an extension off the face, a muzzle with nose and mouth, but they are not really dog-like. They are not really horse-like. It is quite different. They sometimes will wear certain kinds of drapings, but not really clothing as you understand it. The temperatures on their planet don't necessarily require them to wrap themselves in something to protect against the weather or the elements. It is generally relatively mild. They do have rain. It is rare that they experience things like snow. Therefore, you would find the environment there relatively pleasant, relatively even temperatured. These beings call themselves something that would translate to you in your language as the phrase moving with the wind. But we cannot replicate their language for you. It is completely non-human and requires the kinds of vocal cords that they have that cannot be replicated in a human body. But the translation of their name for themselves is like moving along with the wind. Does that answer your question?
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
You've spoken about stars and civilizations within the Milky Way, the Pleiades, Orion, Sirius. Have you traveled to other galaxies outside the Milky Way?
Our civilization and many members of it have had experiences in other galaxies, the Magellanic Clouds, as you call them, and even the idea of the Andromeda Galaxy. It is relatively rare that we venture outside what you call the Milky Way galaxy, but again, do remember that we are in our natural state, another parallel reality altogether. There are some slightly different configurations of galaxies in our reality that you don't have in yours, and we have visited some of those as well. but it is rare that we venture beyond the edge of the galaxy that you would call the Milky Way galaxy in our reality.